Hello and welcome to Opinions Plus. Today's discussion is about misogyny. I don't know how many people really understand what that is because you hear it all the time on these clips, and they're talking about women's rights and all the, and Trump and Vance attitude towards women, etc. They're misogynistic. Well, the definition of misogyny, in limited terms, is a hatred of women or a prejudice towards women. I'm not sure if misogyny is the correct idea here. I think that chauvinism, male dominance, male supremacy, male control is much more descriptive. They want to control. They don't hate you. They don't hate the woman. They want to control the woman. They want the woman to be subservient to them. They want that. That's what chauvinists do. So misogyny as far as hatred, some of the ramifications of chauvinism is contempt for women, belittling women, demeaning women, letting them suffer for no reason because you are the dominant force until you're not. Things have changed over the many years. Some things have not changed. As one, I listened to a panel of women talk about, this concept of misogyny, especially when it comes to abortion and the, letting women just suffer because they hate them. I don't think so. I think men are very concerned, but there is as one of the panelists said, a dark underbelly of domineering, dominance, control. That's the issue. I'm not sure if it's hate. I don't think it is hate. I think it's wanting to dominate. As I remember one lady, I was in immigration for many years, and she was one of the officers that worked with me. And she said, these men are always going overseas to different cultures to find wives. Why? Because they don't want an opinionated woman. They don't want a woman who says no. They want a woman who says yes to every damn thing you do because they don't know how to control it. There was a movie out there fairly while ago. It's a Western. And this cowboy guy got involved with this girl and, they fell in love. And she was a, quote unquote modern woman, even though this is back in the 1870s, 1880s. And he says, well, I'm coming, of course, the scene, riding off and got to do the other thing and then come back and I'll marry you and things will be sweet again. Well, he says, which I thought was interesting. She's sitting on the horse, waving goodbye, going to wave goodbye to him. And he says, well, you go back now and don't lose sight of the houses and, that kind of thing. And she sits there and looks at him. And he says, what? Go on, go back now, do what I say. And she just looks at him, smiling. Didn't say no, but just didn't do it. And he turns to her, and the dialogue was all his, and says, well, how's this going to work if you don't do what I tell you to do? She didn't answer. She just smiled. And there was a pause there, and a recognition of her independence, of her ability to make decisions. He wasn't comfortable with it. This is, again, years back. But the writers created this scenario, and I thought it was very fitting. But around that time, women's rights were becoming very popular. 1890s in Utah, women's rights, right to vote, the right to be independent. Even in Utah, where there was polygamism, polygamy, and a variety of other issues, they were pushing the idea of women's rights, women's ability to be an independent person. So there's chauvinistic stuff. In some men, of course, it's misogynistic because we're all different. But in the mainstream, those who want to regulate, dominate, and not let women make their own decisions about their health and well-being, but will want male legislators to make that decision, and some female. Not all women believe in this approach of pro-choice. They have pro-life as the primary recognition of things. But it is not just pro-life. It is not just pro-choice. This is something that has to be done with the woman, with the idea, and the society. The society has to grow up. The society has to mature to see that there's an avenue for all types of thinking, not just one concept, not just pushing the agenda. Abortion is a tremendous thing, but it's one issue. It's not the entire scope of the problem. There's a dark underbelly of prejudice, and it's not dark underbelly of misogynism. It's a dark underbelly of hatred. People do hate. They don't address it in themselves, and they don't address it in the societal norms. But they need to. It has to be. Whether Trump is a misogynist or a chauvinist, or Vance is a misogynist or a chauvinist, or Mark Robinson, or that Roy Moore guy down in Alabama, years back, was defeated because of his desire to engage with underage women. This is horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. But Roy Moore almost won that election down in Alabama for the Senate. And how was he even put up as a candidate? How is Mark Robinson put up as a candidate? What is the vetting of all this? Where does it come from? And why is it there? There are good people out there who don't have that baggage, who don't have those attitudes, who may be somewhat chauvinistic, but they are not. They understand that things change, that ideas change, that women have rights and privileges that they never had in the 1880s and 1890s. Until they work for it, and they make demands for it, and they work hard for it. There's much that has to be done yet. But it is not hatred of women, I don't think. We have to go beyond that rhetoric, get beyond the hatred of everything, and get to the issue that it's at hand. And I think the issue is always, primarily, I shouldn't say always because it's never always, dominance, power. And I don't care what level you are, you're at the Trump level who wants to seek vengeance on everybody, or, a domestic issue, which, that clip about Vance saying women should stay in, violent relations, just because of the children or because of this, and, idiotic statements like that. And that was the way. That was not unheard of. When I was a kid, that was what women did in the primary. Very difficult to get divorced. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the resources. They were locked in. And it was worse before. They shouldn't be that way. But things are what they are. We have to change it. We have to adapt and become better people. Go to the good, keep hope alive. But I don't think it's the hate I think it's the desire to dominate is primarily the issue in all these prejudicial concepts. You know, it can grow into hate because people don't understand what the hell they're doing, but it starts with domination, to dominate, to control, even on a family level. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, subscribe, pass it on. Keep hope alive. Go to the good. The good will lead us to a better place. The good will lead us past people like Robinson and Roy Moore and on to better things. But it is important to go beyond these things in our hearts. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.